I was a 12-year-old kid. I grew up in northern Maine on the Canadian border. I didn't have a mall like this. Are you kidding? The population of the town was 12,000. Today, the population of that same town is 5,500. It was a quaint little town. It was a place where everybody knew everybody. My dad had a job where he was in charge of all the water and sewer installation and maintenance in the entire city. And he had 7 kids. I was the second of the 7. One day, I was down at J.C. Penney's. It was 2 days before Christmas. It was snowing. I was there with my friend Warren. And I was trying to find Christmas gifts for my siblings and for my mom and dad. Now, the store was way different than this store down here at the UTC Mall in Sarasota, Florida, where I live now. That little J.C. Penney's department store, it was 2 stories. I bet it didn't have 3,000 square feet in the whole store. But I tell you what, I walked into that store, and as I walked downstairs looking for something for my mom, I noticed something underneath one of the racks, long dresses. And I did a second glance. I bent my head over, and sure enough, it was 5 $20 bills wrapped in a blue bank wrapper. I grabbed that money, stuffed it in my pocket, and took off out of that store like a flash. I went home, I gave the money to my mom, I told her what happened. She said, okay, don't say a word to anybody. She took the money, I had no idea where it was. Within 15 minutes, my dad came home from work. He questioned me, made sure I didn't steal it somewhere. I convinced him that I didn't, told him exactly what happened. And the next thing I knew, he was telling me that he had called the police station and asked them, had anyone reported losing any money that day? The police officer told him, yeah, 2 people did. One lost their wallet, but they weren't sure where. The other person said they lost 5 $20 bills wrapped in a blue bank wrapper, and they lost it somewhere between the First National Bank and J.C. Penney's. You see, the bank was right across the street from J.C. Penney's store. My dad knew right away who the owner was. He said, I'll meet you down at the square. The guy says, I live in Oakfield, 14 miles away. It'll take me 30 minutes to get there. Dad said, no problem. When my dad came home, he said, son, I'm proud of you. And this man wants to say thank you. The guy took a $20 bill out of the bank wrapper and gave me that $20 bill. That was a lot of money back then, a lot more than it is now. But you know what I learned that day? I learned not the value of money that day. I learned that the greatest treasure in life is not money, it's honesty. And I've carried that principle with me from the day my dad taught me that with a $20 bill. A hard lesson, because I thought I was going to get $20. But instead, I got the lesson of a lifetime. I've carried that lesson with me to 3 continents where I've lived, 5 continents where I have visited. I've carried it into the pulpit when I pastored a church for 24 years. I now carry it into my business as a realtor here in Sarasota, Florida. You see, somebody's always going to have more sales than you. Somebody's going to have less. Somebody's always going to have more money than you. Some people are going to have less. But no one can have more honesty than the person called you that chooses to keep it, use it, and never waste it. My friend, I wish you a very Merry Christmas, and I hope you teach your kids the value of honesty and integrity like my dad did me. Merry Christmas, my friend. Sarasota, Florida. Gulf Premier, Sarasota. Brent Haggerty. God bless you. Merry Christmas.